California, convening a special climate summit.
The summit will bring together all of the different groups that play a role.
California is not waiting for Trump.
We know that you can talk the talk, but now it's time to.
Our message to local leaders needs to be inescapable. No more stalling, no more delays. It's time to act.
This September 8th, let's show world leaders what real climate leadership looks like. We're organizing the biggest climate mobilization that the West Coast has ever seen.
I rise. I rise. I rise. I rise.
Tens of thousands of people marched in Paris and also in thousands of cities and towns worldwide to support the international Rise for Climate protest movement. Many are upset with the lack of progress following the 2015 Paris Accord on climate change.
In all, Rise for Climate protests were held in 90 cities across the world. Organizers say many have deep concerns about President Trump's policies on climate change. The United States remains one of the world's worst polluters. Summit in San Francisco next week, but for many change can't come soon enough. Thousands took to the streets to demand that California make the switch to renewable energy before it's too late. It's hoped the show of strength here will spur politicians and those in power to take action.
We rise today because all sentient beings should have the right to clean air, clean water, along with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
In Australia, big demonstrations marked a global day of action. Here too there are concerns about burning fossil fuels, rising ocean levels, and a failure by the Australian government to meet its commitments to reduce
I'm Governor
change.
Jerry Brown. Greetings from California. Look, it's up to you and it's up to me and tens of millions of other people to get it together, to roll back the forces of carbonization and join together to combat the existential threat of climate change. That's why we're having the Climate Action Summit in San Francisco, September 2018. Come join us. Entrepreneurs, singers, musicians, mathematicians, professors, students. We need people that represent the whole world, because this is about the whole world and the people who live here. We have to do something, and we can do it. That's why we want to join together in this Climate Action Summit in 2018 in San Francisco. Yes, I know President Trump is trying to get out of the Paris Agreement, but he doesn't speak for the rest of America. We in California and in states all across America believe it's time to act. It's time to join together, and that's why at this Climate Action Summit, we're going to get it done. So
some 4,000 climate experts and other delegates, including former Vice President Al Gore, expected to converge on San Francisco for the governor's Global Climate Action Summit. But take a look, already this weekend, some 30,000 people marched through the streets of San Francisco, pushing for more aggressive action on climate change and global warming issues. The San Francisco Chronicle this morning reporting that now well-financed and well-organized activists are planning mass demonstrations and civil disobedience during the summit, which again begins on Wednesday, continues through Friday. The progressive group Consumer Watchdog even put out a 30-second ad calling the governor, quote, cruel and heartless for allowing kids to live near polluting oil and gas rigs. For their part, the governor's spokesperson has said the governor is moving to address climate change the best way he can and to convince others to do the same.
People from around the world are gathering in San Francisco ahead of the Global Climate Action Summit.
Gaining momentum.
From politicians to foreign dignitaries and even a giant polar bear made out of plaster. The Global Climate Summit has descended on San Francisco.
Thank you, Jerry Brown, for signing that bill yesterday.
Former Vice President Al Gore spoke at Fort Mason this morning, thanking Governor Jerry Brown for his leadership this week, setting the loftiest climate target to date, promising to make California carbon neutral by 2045.
We have to make the decarbonization of the global economy the central organizing principle of human civilization in order to stave off the climate crisis in time to avoid the truly catastrophic.
More about that climate summit now. I'm joined on the set by France 24's Valerie DeKimp. Valerie, what can we expect from this summit that gets started today?
So this summit is a way of bypassing what the civil society perceives to be the inaction of national governments around the world. So where states have been slow to act, well, mayors, business leaders can act. This is not an empty shell of talks. While the world continues to see more extreme weather conditions, more extreme natural catastrophes. And I think it's worth mentioning that as leaders gather in San Francisco, Hurricane Florence is expected to reach the east coast of the United States and could become one of the most catastrophic storms that the region has ever witnessed.
The encyclical is indeed a timely response to one of the most urgent challenges faced by humanity today, a possible collapse of the very home that sustains us and all forms of life.
A fossil-free world means that I get to stay in my own island, that the next generation gets to grow up in their islands, in their homes, without having to leave.
Everyone knows that 75 years from now, the world's going to run on sun and wind. The question is, will it be a broken planet that runs on sun and wind?
I believe that climate change is a battle that will be won or lost at the grassroots, not in plenary halls. And therefore, local leaders play a big role in making that happen.
He has said explicitly that citizen pressure will help drive more ambition.
us in the Pacific, and me and Samoa with our Team 350 Samoa will be getting pledges from our churches to say that they will be taking steps to go solar or steps to go renewable.
Whether I'm in San Francisco joining people in the streets or anywhere else in the world, I will spread the word. I will spread the message of hope and courage.
We hope that everybody is out in the streets on the 8th of September rising for climate. I'll be in California at the big march, but there's going to be marches like it all over the world and people figuring out other ways to rise up.
On the 8th of September, we rise.
We rise.
We rise. Rise with us.
Rise with us.
Today I'm appealing for leadership from politicians, from business and scientists, and from the public everywhere. We have the tools to make our actions effective. What we still lack, even after the Paris Agreement, is the leadership and the ambition to do what is needed. And what makes all of this even more disturbing is that we were warned. Scientists have been telling us for decades, over and over again. And far too many leaders have refused to listen. And far too few have acted with the vision the science demands. And we see the results. In some situations, they are approaching scientists' worst-case scenarios. The world's richest nations are the most responsible for the climate crisis, yet the effects are being felt first and worst by the poorest nations and the most vulnerable peoples and communities. Existing technologies are waiting to come online: cleaner fuels, alternative building materials, better batteries, and advances in farming and land use. And these and other innovations can have a major role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions so we can hit the Paris targets and inject the great ambition that is so urgently needed. Let us use the next year for transformational decisions in boardrooms, executive suites, and parliaments across the world. Let us raise our sights, build coalitions, and make our leaders listen. There is no more time to waste. As the ferocity of this summer's wildfires and heat waves shows, the world is changing before our eyes. We are careering towards the edge of the abyss. It is not too late to shift course, but every day that passes means the world eats up a little more and the cost of our inaction mounts. Every day we fail to act is a day that we step a little closer towards a fate that none of us want, a fate that will resonate through generations in the damage done to humankind and life on Earth. Our fate is in our hands. The world is counting on all of us to rise to the challenge before it is too late. I count on you all.